Hello everybody, Caden here today with another Jurassic World Reborn episode, and today we are building another herbivore combo exhibit with, oh my goodness, what have we even gotten here? We've got Triceratops, Ornithomimus, Pachycephalosaurus, and a singular ankylosaur, I believe. I don't know, this exhibit's kind of jam-packed full of stuff. But yeah, it's kind of similar to the Hadrosaur exhibit we made the other episode. And much like that one, I'll be expanding this one later on. It's kind of in a similar case as that last exhibit, where it definitely needs more space in it, and I'm very well aware of that. But I also have so many plans kind of for other exhibits similar to both of these in the same area that I'm kind of like hesitant to make them too large, because then, you know, that might reduce the amount of space I have to work on other projects in the area and kind of connect them up to make a much bigger exhibit in the end. Not saying they all will be connected into a mega exhibit. That's kind of an idea that's rolling around in my head, but we'll see what happens. At any rate, yeah, this exhibit overall, it really is just part 2 of the Hadrosaur exhibit. Although that will actually be getting its own part 2 at some point down the line, don't worry. And hopefully the next one of these will get the last couple dinosaurs people wanted to see with this, so probably the Edmontosaurus, maybe the Lambeosaurus. Although granted, both of those are titans, like those guys are huge. So I don't know how I'm gonna be able to build any exhibit that can hold more than like 2 of them. Yeah, so that's gonna be an interesting thing to deal with, but hey, you know what, it'll hopefully work. Man, that is certainly the issue still with building these exhibits. The animals in this mod are just enormous, and it is really hard to build a properly sized exhibit that isn't going to take me 2.5 million years to make. So yeah, I think they're all just going to be kind of small, like a tiny bit too small of an exhibit, but I think I'm also kind of just growing to accept that, like, hey, you know, it is what it is, right? You know, like, there's not really going to be much I can do. But anyway, so this does have, as you can see here, the same kind of moat we put in the last one. This one doesn't have the grass connecting up to the pathway. I just kind of did the same thing we did with the raptors over there and just put a small little border down beneath the fence to keep the water in and whatnot. I didn't really focus that much on the moat this time. I just kind of, well, I say that. I'm spending a lot of time on it right now, but I decided to spend more time on the actual exhibit this time, getting a bit more elevation to it, trying to get a bit more detail thrown in and give it a bit more interest than the last one, because I felt like the last one kind of lacked interest. Also, if you look at the background, you can see that there are a fair amount of, what would you call them? A fair amount of like pathway reworks and additions that I have done since last episode, and that's just because, well, I woke up this morning and was like, hey, you know what, let's work on some pathways, because why not? Literally the only reason I did that. But I think it worked out well, and it's kind of helpful to work on the pathways to kind of get a better idea of what's going where, because we've obviously got some pretty big exhibits we got to work on fairly soonish, being like the Mamenchisaurus, the Apatosaurus, Brachiosaurus, the large Hadrosaurus. We got a ton of Ceratopsids. We just got a lot of cool animals, and we of course have stuff like the Gigantosaurus and the Allosaurus and the Carcharodontosaurus, so a lot of big carnivores too, so yeah. But yeah, anyway, of course I am starting to do more and more of these combo exhibits where we throw in a bunch of herbivores, and I don't know, I feel like I probably need to start doing more combination exhibits if I want to actually finish this park somewhat, because yeah, it's kind of growing to be a fairly massive project, and I'm spending far more episodes on this than I originally thought I would, because I don't know how many we have right now, actually. I don't even... Did I make a playlist for this? Maybe I did. I'll have to check how many episodes of this we've done so far. But yeah, like, I remember when I originally started doing this, like, the Protoceratops one was just kind of meant to be like a one and done kind of thing. Like, we were just going to do one exhibit and that'd be it. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'll do like 10 episodes or something. We won't get all the animals. And now people are kind of like, oh, you're going to get all the animals. And I'm like, okay, you know what, we'll go for it. Except the Mosasaur. I'm not doing that one. You guys can ask for it all you want. It's not happening. I'm not doing an aquarium on this world. I'm working on enough aquarium-based projects right now. Because obviously we have, well, the aquarium series, and that's a pretty massive project as well, and dinos, which ironically probably won't be getting an episode this week. If you're watching this today, this goes up at least, just because kind of strapped for time and just haven't had time to work on dinos and get stuff worked on, and I need to get more concrete for the build we were working on. So yeah, hopefully next week though we can get back to dinos, get some work done on that world, and yeah, see how that goes. But yeah, overall this is turning out pretty well. There's a lot of cool ideas I have for this world still. Again, not sure we're gonna hit every single animal. I might not do the mammals at all, just because, I don't know, I don't really feel like they're gonna fit with what we've been working on. But if there's enough interest in them, maybe we'll do that. Similar, I guess, with the Raptor Squad or whatever they're called, like Blue, Delta, Charlie, whatever. If people have enough interest in seeing an exhibit for those, I can do one. I don't really know why there would be much interest in that though, because it's not like, I don't know, I can't really think of an interesting exhibit to make for them yet. But if people really want to see those, yeah, let me know, and we can work on that, hopefully. But yeah, yeah, I want to see, did the barrier blocks show up? I didn't, I don't think I looked at this before while I was, I don't remember if they showed up in the time lapse when I was working on it. So yeah, we'll see if they show up with me building them. But yeah, barrier blocks, that is something, and I mentioned this in the showcase of the exhibit, but I started putting barrier blocks around all the river sections of these exhibits and around the moats, so that way the animals don't just immediately go into the moats. Okay, yeah, you can't see me actually placing the barrier blocks. Okay, I was wondering about that, but yeah, I realized that was a really good way to keep the animals from just diving into the moats and getting right up to the fence, which is not what I wanted them to do. So yeah, especially with the raptors, since their moat, they can't get out of their moat. So yeah, that didn't work very well. But yeah, in this exhibit as well, I tried out some stuff from Wildlife Park, putting in a large concrete area for the animals to drink from, and then in the corner, in one of the corners, that one, wherever I'm flying right now. Yeah, I was looking for a location for one. I kind of tried to make one of those like pools, like I put in the elephant enclosure in Wildlife Park, just to, I don't know, I just thought it would look cool and be kind of interesting and kind of mix things up a bit, since I haven't done this in any of the other builds. So yeah, I thought that'd be fun. But yeah, I think that's really all I have to say right now. So yeah, I'll let the rest of this play out, let you guys watch the rest of the decoration of the exhibit, and I'll meet back up with you guys to show off the final build. All right, everybody, here we are with the final build, and I like it a lot. I think it's a pretty good addition. Obviously, it's quite similar to our exhibit we had built over here, which you can see I've been working on some slight modifications. I was originally considering linking these two exhibits up to kind of make one mega exhibit, and I'm actually considering now, at least, that we might connect on a third and final exhibit onto this whole thing, and then connect them up at some point or something like that. We'll see. No final plans with it yet, but I really like this build. This was a lot of fun to do. Again, it is a bit overcrowded. Although I feel like it looks a lot less overcrowded than this exhibit did. I think if I had to get rid of anything, it might just be maybe remove one of the Pachycephalosaurs and 1 or 2 Ornithomimuses. But other than that, I think it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this build. But yeah, I spent a fair amount of time between this episode and the last one just kind of, you know, working on stuff, kind of setting up the pathways a bit more, since this pretty much is the only area we can really expand into at this point. So we've got like all of this area behind here. We got another path coming out here. We got paths going out that way. Oh, and also, for those, I don't know if people are interested in this, but I actually have a chest full of all the dinosaurs or animals we don't have in the park yet. So I figured that was actually a really good idea. That way I could kind of keep track of how much we have left. But with these multi-animal exhibits, we're kind of gonna blitz through some of them. Granted, we do have carnivores left, so yeah, those ones we can't really, you know, do combo exhibits for. But overall, I think this turned out really cool. I like it. It's got some interesting viewing locations that kind of make it different. Also, if you're wondering why it's kind of like this, I hadn't really figured out where the bridge is going yet. So to be honest, once I figure out how this is gonna work, this whole area right here, this whole corner is probably gonna get added into this main exhibit, as well as maybe a bit of ground over here. Again, the problem is usually just I haven't really planned anything else out yet, and I don't necessarily want to start jumping in and throwing in tons of other builds all around the area, or make all the builds super duper massive when I'm like, oh, well, it would have been, you know, it would have made a lot more sense to make this like a small in-between before we start the next build up and stuff. Anyway, just kind of rambling. Also, I should mention this, I guess. I'm not sure how well it showed up in the time-lapse. I haven't had time to look at the final time-lapse, but yeah, I started putting barrier blocks here by the river. I did this over in the Velociraptor exhibit too, so you can see here. That way they weren't going into the river, and I've done that over here as well, because yeah, it was kind of annoying to have all the animals just instantly go into the water and just kind of sit there. So I realized, you know, put some barrier blocks down, you can't really tell the difference, and it still looks pretty good. Also, I really like this bridge. It was a lot of fun to build. I just had a lot of fun building this, and I think this is a really kind of, I don't know, an interesting kind of way to get a better view into some of these exhibits. Granted, the Hadrosaur exhibit, I mean, this thing has so many like ways to look at it from, and this one doesn't necessarily. I'm kind of thinking I should have maybe made this a bit less of a steep kind of like fence, and maybe should have brought it out a bit more like this direction. Who knows? Again, probably going to come back to this one, much like the Hadrosaur one, throw in some final space expansions in, and go from there. Once at least, you know, we've kind of figured out this whole area and how it's all going to come together in the end. But yeah, I think that's really all I've got for today, so thank you all for watching. Hope you've all enjoyed, and until next time, guys, see ya.